Tim Petrowich of the Daily Republican here with Marion head football coach Kerry Martin, our weekly visit. Coming up this weekend, it's week 7. The Centralia Orphans host the Wildcats this weekend. But first, I think we can't get by without talking about last Friday night's game. Big win for your club, 42-13 overall top.
It was a good game for us and against a very good football team. You know, we had began scouting them last Sunday, and we were very impressed from the very beginning of their size and their speed and their quickness and just their football savvy, and they had a lot of weapons, and our kids played a heck of a ball game, I think, against a very good team.
Althoff seems to have a little bit of a mental block right now when it comes to getting the ball in the red zone. They got there 4 times in the first half against your club, and the defense held strong. Couple of big plays, and people will talk about the long touchdown run by Marcus Green, but I went and got a chance to see some video of that, and I think Colin Saltner gets a lot of credit too. He's the one, I think, who shot the gap and got a hold of the quarterback before he could make the pitch. So, but again, more goal line stands by your defense.
Yeah, we did, and that's been big all year for us. At key times, we've had great goal line stands, and last year I think they got into the red zone 4 or 5 times against us here at home and didn't score, and so we were bending, but we weren't breaking, and that's always the key. At key times we had guys step up like Colin and those other guys up front, Aaron and Daoui and Keegan, and all of them just did a great job in key situations. Penetrating what I think is a pretty good offensive line and creating some turnovers for us and putting pressure on the quarterback when he threw the pick and down there also. So it's defense came up big for us, got us some points on the board. At one time, we're in the middle of the second quarter, we had ran 6 offensive plays and had 2 punts. So we really had no rhythm. We had no offensive chance to put forth our game plan, and the defense took care of us on that.
And even the first time you scored with the offense, you didn't get a chance to get any rhythm because it was an 85-yard touchdown run by Shaquille.
Yeah, we're hoping to give our defense a little bit of a break, and put a drive together, and Shaq took the ball 85 yards or so and put our defense right back on the field. But, fortunately for us, we were able to leave halftime with a 12-0 lead in a situation that looked like it was going to be reversed with them up 12-0 or so, and a couple of big plays, and our defense held the rest of the half, and we came out in the second half with a 2-score lead, and that was big.
You had talked about the fact they had so many players that went both ways. Yeah. You thought you could wear them down. That was clearly evident in the second half because you really had things going on both sides of the ball, and up at one point 42-6. So you really had a dominant performance in the second half.
It made a big difference. There's no doubt about it. They came out when they were fresh, and they had their main 11 kids on the field fresh. They were awfully tough, and I think the fact that we had a little more depth than they did made a big difference in the ball game. And part of the game plan was to play it close early and win it late. And fortunately, we not only played it close early, we had a 2-score lead early, and that was a huge factor in the ball game. But they did wear down. They're still a very tough opponent. As I said, they're so well coached and so disciplined. They reminded me a lot scheme-wise of a Richwoods kind of team that we played last year in the playoffs. And we were very fortunate to get out of there, not only with a win, but I think to come away with a margin of victory that we did. And our kids, just so many other kids stepped up this week, and I was just proud to see it.
And it was even fun late in the game to see a kid like Troy Slinker get a big interception return for a touchdown.
Well, it's always, we tell the kids, when we sub out in a ball game, if we've got a lead or whatever, we're expected to go in and perform. And I think that's what's happened all year. We've seen young men like Troy step in the ball game, and it's their turn to play and to play at a high level. We still expect them to go out and do the things they're coached to do, and I know that's going to have a big impact on him because he's an up-and-coming player who has played a little bit of varsity, not a lot, but maybe this is that confidence boost a young man like that needs to start playing a little more for us and playing at a higher level.
And I think we need to backtrack a little bit. We talk a little bit about Marcus because obviously he had that long fumble recovery for a touchdown, but he had a really important interception earlier in the game too. And after missing a couple games with the injury, he's back into form and he's really starting to make a big impact on the team.
Yeah, it's just no telling how much we missed him in those early ball games. We lost him during the week 1 game against Granite City, and he sat out for a couple of weeks, and now he's back, and he's just an impact player, and he's kind of that big play guy that we have on offense with Torn and Shaquille. Now we've got that big play guy back on defense.
You're 6-0, big win over Althoff on Friday night. you try to do the team a favor. You try to offer them the day off. It kind of backfired on you, didn't it?
It did. I was a little surprised by it. We had a community service project for our junior class football players, and our sophomores had a walkthrough for their practice. So we knew we were going to be a little short in numbers at film session. And I offered to give them the morning off on Saturday morning and come back and watch film on Monday. And they mutinied on me and demanded that we continue the same routine, and the championship football teams are supposed to continue working hard even after they're successful. So it was kind of interesting that happened, but it surprised me actually. Here we are waiting to leave on the bus, a chance to give them a day off, and they didn't go with it. So it kind of says a lot about the young men that are on the team right now.
Centralia this week, it's not the same Centralia team that you guys have faced in previous years. It's not the team that you can go up there and say, oh, we just got to perform halfway decent and come out with a big win. They're a team that can really pose some problems.
Yeah, they're a team that can beat, I think, about anybody they play on their schedule any night they play them, because they've got a very solid passing game. They've got a good running game as well. Their defense is playing good. They've got some very solid defensive players that are very aggressive. They've got a couple of kids that just stand out at you. This young wide receiver, senior wide receiver named Fritch, he's probably in the top receivers in the state right now, numbers-wise, and teams have tried lots of different coverages on him, and he continues to hurt people even double covered. They're finding a way to get him the football, and finally, I think Ray Calling is the head coach there now, and he is, been there. This is his second season. He's just doing a great job with that program, and you can tell he's re-energized the program. There's a lot of excitement there for football again, and those players are believing in what he's teaching, and they're playing a lot of people close. They've won more games this year than they've won in a long time in a single season, and now they're playing everybody close, and that's dangerous. And of course, it's dangerous for us to see this football team on film and the things they can do. So we've got to be, once again, the South 7 Conference, take nobody lightly, respect all, fear none. We've got to be ready to play on Friday.
Does it maybe remind you a little bit of where your club was 6 or 7 years ago, where the first year you came in, you really struggled and had some blowouts, and then for a couple of years, you were playing everybody close and just not quite getting over the hump?
And Ray and I have talked about that. I've been down the very same road in a rebuilding process, and I know what it's like to go out and to try to rebuild and change the attitude and change the culture in a community, and as far as the football culture goes. And some of the things he is going through, you're exactly right, are things that we experienced here. And I know that as he stays with it and builds his program, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, not only in the future, but I think right now as well for us on Friday.
Althoff had some success throwing the ball against you last week. They threw for 280 yards. Talk about the concerns you have with this kind of a passing game and what you've got to do to step up defensively.
Well, there's no doubt we've got to mix up our coverages, and we've got to mix up our schemes. We can't be predictable with them. And I think the other thing is, when you face a team like this, they can make a mistake or an incompletion on first and second down, come back on third down and hit a 12-yard pass for a first down, and the drive keeps going. And they've only got to be successful on a few plays at a time through a drive, and one of them be a big play, and they're in scoring position. So, that kind of offense is dangerous, because you think you've got them, and then boom, big play comes, and they've got a 20, 30-yard gain with a fresh set of downs. So, and there's no lead that's safe against a Centralia, because they throw the ball so much, and a lot of teams have found that out, that you can be up by a couple of touchdowns or more, and they're still in the ball game. They've got a chance to come back because they don't use a lot of clock, because they throw it so much. The clock stops a lot, and because of that, they can stay in a game for a long time and force you to play 4 quarters of football and not sit on a lead, and that can be dangerous. So it's something we have to game plan for.
Conversely, they've given up a lot of points too. So the way your offense is playing, continuing to get better and more solid, you've got to feel confident that at least you can put some points on the board.
Well, we're going to have to take some pressure off our defense. We're going to have to score some points. There's no doubt about it. And we're going to have to continue doing the things that we've been successful with this year, and hopefully continue to improve on them. We've got to try to take advantage of other phases of the game, like special teams and on our offensive side, and score some points and put them in some bad field position, hopefully, and then give our defense even more opportunities to come up with some big plays.
6-0 sounds pretty good. I'm sure you'd think 7-0 sound better.
Yeah, you know, 6-0 is a great start for our team, but it's certainly only the beginning of what we hope is greater things to come. You know, we're proud of it, we're excited for it, but you know, yeah, we're greedy, and I think everybody understands that when you're 6-0, it's not time to sit back and be satisfied. We want to continue improving as a team, take them one at a time, and Centralia is next on our list, and it presents some new challenges for us that we haven't seen this year, and I'm anxious to see how our kids meet that challenge of a passing offense and another road game, and it's just exciting to be a part of this right now, and I hope it continues.
All right, next Friday night at Centralia. Look forward to seeing you there.
Appreciate it. Sounds good.
Coach Kerry Martin of the Marion Wildcats for the Daily Republican. I'm Tim Petrovich.